There we go. Welcome everyone to episode 5 of the 7th stream. Hope everyone had a great time last time. We had some exciting stuff going on. And I think we're going to start out that way right off the bat here, is we're just going to go through the players and have them remember and remind us of something awesome that happened last time, so that we're ready to start up with some exciting vim and vigor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone got their vim and vigor on?
Mm.
One out of two, maybe some vim.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm actually out of vim and vigor. I used it all cooking Lucy's birthday cake today, but
Yum.
which was yum, yes. But now we're ready for some role-playing vim and vigor that doesn't involve eating cake.
Well, can we have cake?
I think we deserve cake.
I think
all of your
deserve cake
characters
as well.
get cake there.
Yeah, that's all we want. Good job, guys. We can go home.
We win.
That'll actually be our first scene. We'll be back to the boat, and the cook will be coming up, going, "Oh, hey, I made cake."
Perfect.
Then we can all virtually have cake instead of actually have cake. I'm not sure which is better, but I'm sure. Actually, I know which is better.
Oh, we already got a cat.
Mm-hmm. that wasn't a laugh doubting your skills.
Because totally would.
So, yeah, no kidding. Some of you might have noticed a slight difference in the.
Stand back, guys. I got
Whoa,
this.
whoa!
Bodhi is floating.
Oh, God.
Oh shit.
And now she's in Usura. Now we put her down in Montaigne.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Moving.
Giving you some behind the scenes what
We're
goes
going
on here.
places.
Hope no one's watching. So you guys want to know the funny part? The funny part is that when this was set up, I got it done, and I'm like, oh, everybody showed up in the right spots except for the Bodhi and Christina are in the wrong spots, and so I swapped you. And then
Turns out
I was wrong, so that's me demonstrating my lack of vim and vigor for today. But now that you've done floating, you're in the right spots.
Perfect.
Woohoo.
And that'll be immortalized on whatever video that comes out here. So there we are. Let us begin then. I'm going to just go left to right. So we'll start with Esteban as to what his most awesome favorite thing that happened in episode 4.
I think I liked, not that I jumped into the fray per se, but I was near the fray adjacent, and was able to at least contribute a little bit by healing our massive claymore wielder and preventing her from dying.
Which is good. I'm happy to not be dead.
That was the fantastic scene where you prevented her from rolling extra dice by healing her, right? So,
Yes.
I was vocally upset.
I think you probably stole my favorite thing, right? Which I think I already said anyways, though, which was people being upset they were being healed.
I lose extra dice.
Hey man, dice are important to me.
A good 7th C min-maxer makes sure to take 1 dramatic wound right at the start of every combat. Look for that bullet, take it.
Jump in front of it.
Shoot me! Shoot me!
And then move on. Okay, Ashlyn.
My favorite scene. Gosh, I'm not right. I just liked how everybody came together and they fought the big bad thing.
Teamwork, huh?
Ooh, teamwork. How about the teamwork?
I feel like we've had teamwork before, but no examples spring to mind.
Yeah.
I mean, charging up and facing a big bad thing that could crush you and almost kill multiple of you guys ended up and it didn't end as badly as I thought it would.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
Woo!
Jolly cooperation.
Woohoo!
Captain Ricardo.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotta kill the big demon. That was pretty cool, but I watched, skimmed through the video from last week, and I realized we totally missed excellent pun that we could have rubbed in Aaron's face. Is when
Yeah.
Ursula took the hand, and we questioned, we were like, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" She said, "I've got a handle on it," and we all missed it, and it was wonderful.
Oh.
It's okay. I'm used to it.
Okay, Ursula.
I really enjoyed how much effort our captain has put into making sure that we didn't die, and by we I mean Valdis and I, by charging headlong at a whatever the fuck that was, and him just like, well, I'm gonna be a distraction as much as possible. It was very helpful in keeping me alive as well, but not robbing me of extra dice, which is the important part.
Got some in my eye. Oh.
That I just remember the beard tickles.
Oh yes, your fun sentences about beard tickles.
But I don't want to jump into beardicles before Valdis tells us what he thought was most exciting.
Okay. Honestly, even though I had no part in it, just the conversations of we need blood to keep the portal open, and everyone just kind of awkwardly looking at each other.
You can't expect me to do it. Come on.
Come on, Giuseppe, take one.
I can't expect Giuseppe either. Still working on this emotions thing.
And then Ashlyn's like, "Oh, you fucking babies!" Stabs herself to keep the door open.
Kitty.
Teamwork.
Okay. So good news for this session is that we have a lot of cat apparently already, so that's a good sign. And you guys were all headed back to the boat after your escape from the whatever it was, wherever it was, with the thing that fought that thing we don't know what was. And as you're going, you were there. For anyone watching, the poll should be up and available. It's a little different this week around. The first one is which fate that you've previously chosen should recur. And the second option is who should be the focus of next session's campaign. We'll get back to that one near the end as well. But those are both out there and available. You have some choices, and you can deal with those. I'm not even going to look for a while. That being said, the troop itself, with Big T, your resident shark-headed man, you have returned towards the boat, to the ship, and with I think just your wounds mostly tied up and taken care of. Giuseppe is with you, and your first mate is waiting for you as you arrive, Ricardo.
Lieutenant Anders. I'm a little bit out of it, I think, given what I was literally just told at the end of the last session.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have us move away maybe a little bit from the island. We're going to anchor. We're going to get the senior staff of the ship together and get the party into a room. I guess we need to make sure that Ursula is going to be okay.
I'm just gonna go pass out on a bed somewhere with my claymore beside me for a couple of hours while I sleep this very massive axe wound off. That's how that works, right?
Sleep.
Yes.
Wound off.
Giant axe in the side.
You youngins have fun. I'm gonna need at least an hour.
So, Captain, before you get ready, there is one important thing you should know, and I feel kind of embarrassed about it. It looks like Ma One Eye has escaped.
God damn it!
Did she take anything with her, or did she just jump off the side of the ship and swim away?
She appears to be missing. We're not sure how she got out. I'm worried she might have gotten help from someone aboard ship.
Hey, where's that new guy?
Big T.
Not that new guy.
Carlo. Carlo's on deck, waiting for you to return.
I think I'm just gonna I'm gonna delegate this. I'm gonna make it her responsibility. She was on the ship. She knows it's her responsibility. She has to go investigate and question who she thinks would have helped.
Already on it. I'll keep you up to date.
Yeah, then I want to get the party together.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm kind of impatient, so a bit impatient about Ursula being passed out because I got some questions.
I can't imagine why.
As a side note, Big T is getting lots of stares from the crew. And
can we keep him?
He's kind of looking over the side. It's I'm really hungry, and the ocean's right there. And Captain, is there any crew members you can spare?
Or what?
I mean, I don't exclusively eat people, but mostly.
I love
No.
you, Big T.
No, we can't do that. I'm sorry, Big T. But if that's going to be a long-term problem, perhaps we should part ways.
But I can study him. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, thanks very much for rescuing you. That's why I'm not eating any of you. You all good. I'm sure I'll put a good word in for Mab if I see her.
Okay.
I'm gonna miss you, Big T.
Oh. Yeah, actually, speaking of that, I bet Mab would really want to know about what's going on. Yeah,
I don't think that's necessary.
No, I don't think no. She's a very busy person. She doesn't need any of that.
Nonsense. Tell her what we're doing. It's
No.
fine.
No,
what?
the less the Fae get involved in this, or the Sea get involved into this, the better.
I beg to differ.
Valdis, what are you doing?
I'm trying to get answers, damn it.
Not this
Mab
way.
will not give us answers.
Mab is
Don't be ridiculous.
Mab is how do you say that word?
Crazy, insane, offer rocker,
yeah, a bit
vindictive.
Yeah, a bit not good. Yeah.
And I think you guys
evil.
are pulling this way out of proportion.
No, we're not. In fact, we're very much just don't. We're not.
We should be making a bigger deal out of this.
The fact of the matter is that Big T is not our prisoner.
No, he's not. But
and he is free to go and speak to whoever he wishes. Though I would hope, and I kind of give him an eye, is like, I would hope that he would convey his gratitude to whoever this Mab is for all that we've done for him.
Her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Don't worry. I'm sure if like you're fighting people who are like capturing her servants, then you are on the same side.
Oh,
And that's good. Just like we're on the same side, right?
Yeah,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
comrades.
no.
Lie to him. Just lie.
Yes. Come on.
Okay.
Why would you-
I'll see you later. And he like jumps off the side of the ship into the water and swims off.
Bye, Big T.
I hope he never gets to Mab. Like he gets
Yeah,
distracted.
agreed.
There's a ship that's sinking or something,
Throw some chum in the water.
right?
I'm gonna miss Big T.
I mean, I'll miss not being able to study him.
Well, if you want to be the one to donate the flesh to feed him, then you could keep him.
Oh no, that's fine. I'm okay.
Well then, can we all meet in my quarters, please?
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
you want me to
could.
go? Should we wake Ursula?
Are you gonna wake up
We're still-
Ursula?
I still have a bit of a flesh wound in my hand.
Oh my god.
Mechanically, all your flesh wounds are pretty much gone because they're just bruises and scratches. They're
Now
not the dramatic wounds that you have to worry about.
I have a dramatic wound of
But you did,
slicing
in
my
fact,
hand.
You did, in fact, dramatically wound yourself with that knife to keep the portal open.
Mhm.
So that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll have. I'm actually going to have the bosun Olaf Laframboise bring Ursula. Maybe the surgeon will help wheel her up into my quarters, and she can lay on my like couch thing over on the side. Because we have to decide what to do next. We got to decide quickly.
It's true.
So Ursula, the ship's surgeon and another guy show up with a makeshift wheelchair thing. You know, they put some wheels and a board and all that. Anyways, and they like, Captain wants to see you right away.
I'm gonna glare at the makeshift chair that they've brought me, and then use my claymore as a walking stick, and then hobble my way, probably bleeding a lot into my bandages, up to the captain's quarters. As I'm assuming my 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5 dramatic wounds are still technically a thing.
They are technically a thing, yes. The
Okay.
dramatic wounds go away when the GM says they go away, basically.
Mm.
So when it's dramatically appropriate, they will go away. But I think you being completely beat up from that fight seems dramatically appropriate still. So there we are.
I agree.
Yep.
All right, so I'll take my 4 to 5 dramatic wounds, otherwise I'm helpless, and hobble my way into the captain's quarters, likely bleeding all over the deck.
As soon as she comes in hobbling, I like rush over to her. I put her arm over my shoulders and I like try to heave her over to a comfortable spot. And I like look back out the door to try and find where the bosun and the surgeon went. How they let her hobble her way over here by herself.
They are following
Well-
her, like just I guess to make sure that she doesn't collapse on the way there.
She is a strong, independent Eisenwoman who don't need a doctor.
Yeah, I look like I'm gonna say something to like chastise them, and then I look at her sword and look at her like bleeding everywhere, and I'm like, close the door.
I'll do my best to sit up straight and look like I'm not in a fuck ton of pain, but
Yeah, you look terrible, Ursula.
thank you.
At least
Pass
she-
her over my
welcome.
water skin.
Oh.
Could use a drink.
Something stronger than this, yes. Hey, well timed, Valdis.
I'm assuming
mean-
Giuseppe is not involved in this conversation.
That depends on the captain. But I'm
mean-
gonna go out on a limb and guess no.
No, unless he has something. Unless he comes up and says, "Hey, I have something important to say."
No,
No.
he came up with you guys and was kind of like hanging around on deck, but when you motioned for people to join you in the captain's room, he just looked longingly that direction and then went below deck.
He's probably below deck,
Oh dear.
crying in
I
a
probably lean over to Valdez and I'm like, what a freaking weirdo.
Yeah, he is pretty weird.
I mean, for somebody who went from not caring about anybody's emotions to experiencing everybody's emotions, I think he's doing okay. He's just a little bit off.
Eh.
I get where he's coming from, because I miss Big T too.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Wait, Big T's gone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I liked him. He's very strong.
He didn't really fit in well on the ship, so it's
You
for the
didn't
best.
fit in well with the ship.
Pardon me? I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about.
I am hurt and offended that you would just talk about Big T like that.
Did you want to feed yourself to him?
No, but we
Okay.
could have fed Giuseppe to him.
No,
All right.
we could not.
Well, that would only solve the problem for a day or two. And then what?
We just find more people we don't like.
Captain, if this is just going to be arguing about Big T, I would very much like to go back to my room.
I go get up, walk over to like a little personal crate, pop it open, pull out a fancy bottle of alcohol, some cups, set them out to everybody. And I sit down and we have accomplished something that is only told in myths and tales. That demon creature was something that normal people would not have trifled with. We should all be proud of ourselves. But it appears that somehow there's this conspiracy with the pirates and these strange creatures. It goes beyond what maybe any of us even has expected. So, I think we all need to come clear. If anybody has any doubts about what is going to be expected of us in the future, now's the time to voice those. Now's the time to all realize that we are all on the same boat. Every decision each one of us makes will affect the others, and fate or whatever, that magic explosion that Ashlyn that affected us all has somehow linked us together. I reach up, unbutton one of my shirts, one of my buttons, and pull off my necklace, and I kind of hold it out. I'm like, my mother gave this to me, and now she is somehow involved in all of this. I don't know for how long. But does anybody know what this thing is? Why would she give me this strange amulet? Did she know? Was she herself then?
Greg, who did I see that on?
The
I
amulet?
saw something matching, right, from someone else?
Yes, it was some of the symbols from that cave you were in, wasn't it?
Okay.
It was the around. There was the sculpture of the Deva.
Right. Well, Captain, I don't know how much you looked at the symbols in the cave, but some of them match your necklace. So it seems you did know.
Did she did she work or was part of the church?
She was in training to become a priest.
Because to my to my understanding, it seems like the people who are supplying the pirates are people who belong within the church themselves.
So then we can either try to go back to where I last saw her, or perhaps try to track down our family, my extended family, who I have never met before, but I kind of know their general area.
The thing is, if your mum is really elbows deep in all this, would she be contacting anybody in your family at all?
I doubt it. They had shunned her after she became pregnant out of wedlock.
Oh, you're a bastard.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
what
And I take a
separated
shot of the drink and I set it down and pour one and slide it over to you, Esteban.
Cheers.
You drink like a bastard. Congrats.
Hey, wait a minute.
Where did you last see your mother?
And on the Vaticine Island. This would have been 15 years ago.
Wow.
you?
Why so long?
She told me to meet her in Vendel. I was to go with a priest and another servant. And she said she would meet us there in 2 months. And 2 months came and passed, and she never showed.
Did she try contacting you?
Not that I know of.
Did you ever go back?
One time, yes.
Was anything off? Do you remember anything strange, different?
I found her for the bishop that was training her in priestly ways, and it did not go well. He called me and my mother heretics.
Seems like we need to go find that bishop then.
I can tell you I've seen your mother within
What?
the last year.
What?
Then I'm going to reach into where my breastplate would have been, which I'm assuming has been removed at this point, into a hidden pocket on my vest, pull out a locket, and chuck it onto the table in front of you. It's probably got a little bit of my blood on it.
What? How did...
She's not human anymore.
So Ricardo, you absolutely recognize the locket as your mother's locket. It probably has your picture in it. That's your memory, at least.
Your mother and my sister and I fought her in a hold of horrors in the mountains of Ison. Your mother killed my own, severely wounded me and my sister. We barely escaped after I stole that from her in a final blow. I have been searching for her since then. It was only chance that fate that led me to you. I've been hoping to find her when she comes for you. Her only son.
This just got uncomfortable.
I fill up a cup and then I hand it over to Ursula. Cheers, mate.
I'm just gonna fill up 2 cups for myself over
Yeah,
here.
could I get another shot?
Yeah, I'll top you off, bud.
So if we're confessing stuff, I let the mad-eyed woman go.
You let Ma go?
Under some pretty heavy circumstances that we have come to agree upon. But she is my informant now, and she'll be keeping an eye on Igor and whoever he is coming into contact with, possibly giving us leads to the ultimate root of this problem.
How do you know she wasn't just lying to you?
She swore on ancient magics that I firmly believe in from my homeland. There's a way of things coming back to people if they do break their promises in very bad ways.
Well, just to be clear, I don't have anything to confess. Ugh.
You didn't do anything.
Ashlyn,
Yes.
well done.
What?
It's. I think that's the right thing. We have no real leads on where Igor has gone.
But you hate
So-
the man.
Huh? Wait, what?
You hate him. You
Igor?
and yeah.
Yes, he tortured me. Of course I hit him.
I thought for sure you would throw me overboard or make me walk the plank or something.
Ma is just a pawn, and one that is apparently willing to flip sides. So it was either execute her, and she would be of no use to us, or apparently we can get something out of her. So no, you did right, but maybe check with somebody before. And
you were nobody was on the ship, to be fair.
the problem
kind
the
of
problem
in that
here
building.
is I have to keep the crew searching and questioning people, because I don't think they will be very
No.
happy.
No, they will not. And for that, I apologize. The episode went up.
It's fine. How will she contact you?
I have various means and resources in play. So she will contact me when she needs to. And I'm just going to leave that at that.
Sure, that's not ominous.
Well, how do you think I get to my sites and know where they're at and able to procure a lot of ancient artifacts? Girl must have her secrets after all.
Mm-hmm.
So there was some conversation about what you were doing next.
So we could return to Vatasine and find the bishop.
That would be best.
He might not know, but he seemed frightened when I showed up at his doorstep. So maybe he does know something. He might not talk to me, but perhaps he'll talk to one of you.
I look over at the doctor.
I mean, people like me. I'm good at conversation. I'm sure I can get him to talk.
I mean, I feel like Ursula could probably get him to talk too.
That would be a different
Let's-
kind of.
Let's save my methods for last.
Let's save that for last. Plan B.
We
Gotcha.
could turn him into an informant again too. The more we have, the better.
I agree.
Okay.
So that's it then. We will go to Vatasine, where apparently I am a heretic who will be brought to the gallows on sight. And I suppose we'll try to lie low. I will lie low while you.
Yeah,
No.
don't.
I hit the
Maybe
captain
stay
on
in
the
the
shoulder.
ship.
Maybe grow a mustache or shave your mustache.
I don't think there are many people who will recognize me on sight, but this bishop for sure threatened me. I don't know if he's still has the power or standings actually bring me in
Well,
just with an accusation. But
The bishop.
sometimes you don't want to risk it when
Yeah.
politics in Castile right now.
it's better to err on the side of yes, he can.
Yes.
All right. Well, you better come up with a fake name when we get there.
Yeah, interestingly enough, the only one of you who might not be like clearly in violation of the Inquisition is probably Ursula.
Mm.
Um, but she's also clearly in violation of Vaticine law by being from Eisen, that whole war thing that happened.
Yeah, that whole war that happened.
May or may not have the crest of an objectionist hero on my breastplate, so maybe.
I don't know what you're talking about. As far as the church is concerned, I am an upstanding citizen who does no magic.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
I mean,
I'm definitely not a pagan. That is sure.
lying is always an option, right? I mean, that's.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, just letting you know, Captain, are you ready to break up and put orders to sail for the Vaticine?
Yeah. Real quick though. Oh, how do I want to? It's a. Yeah, I think it's called. I go over to Ursula again. Maybe overdoing it. Ricardo he's sometimes a little bit passionate. He kind of kneels down. And he goes to like draw his sword, and he kind of looks around at everybody, puts it back, and he just puts his hand on Ursula's shoulder and says, "You bleed for me, I will bleed for you. Know this. I owe you."
I appreciate that.
And then I stand up and Lieutenant, prepare ship to get underway.
Oh, that's my ear.
I'm gonna get up to hobble out to go rest for however long they'll let me rest in my room. But as I pass the captain, I'm gonna lay a hand on his shoulder. Come see me when you have time. I feel you deserve to know how it happened. And then I'm gonna hobble away.
So that's awkward.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go brush my Davis hair. Later, guys.
That's also awkward.
I think you and I have some other things to talk about, Doctor.
Sure, yeah. Babe, what do we have to talk about?
Nerd stuff.
Mutual things.
Right, the things.
And my hand. You can fix it, right?
I look at your hand. Just keep it clean. It'll be good.
You're kidding!
Rub some dirt in it.
Start grumbling, and I push myself out. It's like, I'll meet you at your lab.
Hey, I'm not gonna spend a hero point on your little hand. Ursula's half dead. I'm not spending a point on her.
I'm sure that the
Not that-
hand wound will heal quickly.
Right.
Certainly before the journey is done. Okay, so the ship starts to get underway. A little bit of time is going to pass for everybody. It sounds like, Ashlyn, you might want to have a conversation with Esteban in the lab while the others are taking care of personal business.
Yep. I do.
But I also think we all probably want to hear what Ursula says to Ricardo as well. But we'll do Ashlyn and Esteban first, and then we'll see how that conversation goes.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to know how this goes too.
So, have you found anything have you done from your experiments on these items? Anything useful?
I mean, a little bit. I don't know if any of it would help our current predicament, but this one makes a really good blanket. It
since you're both in the lab, I will say that the large almond-shaped thing with cracks in it has way more cracks in it today than it did yesterday, um, and seems to be glowing more than it did before.
Yeah, I mean, I'll pull that one out. I'm thinking maybe this is absorbing more energy. So that's probably not good.
Do you think because they're so close together that they're absorbing from each other? Are they reacting to each other?
No, I took this down into that lab
Mm-hmm.
and through the portal. That's probably more likely the cause of that.
Is all that exposure?
That would be my guess.
Do we have to be worried about it doing what the box did?
Yes.
Because heading down the same path?
Wait, are you talking about the jewel? Or not,
Yes.
excuse me, the almond one or the glowing box? Because we got a few different things
I'm
here.
talking about the almond one compared to the box that we had when we were at that party.
No, I don't think this is going to do what that did. There is also this other box, this one, and I don't know if you noticed, but it only glows when it's around you. So I found that pretty weird.
That's preposterous. They're like, sorry, I had some food.
Ashlyn, every time you've seen it, it's been glowing, to be clear.
Right. It's always been that way.
Right, but like I said, if it's only glowing when it's near you, then you would only see it when it's glowing. I mean,
do you think it's because I did not absorb any of that stuff like you guys did, that it's doing it?
Certainly could be. I can try to run a few more experiments, maybe sending you to one end of the ship and then me to the one end of the ship, and we'll just see what's going on there. But I don't know why it would be interacting with you if you don't have the energy within you. It's like some sort of negative association. So that one, not sure. This jewel here, it just seems to stick to stuff, kind of like a magnet does.
Okay.
But to anything. It doesn't seem particularly powerful. So could just be a cool paperweight. And then, like I said, this strange metallic sheet. It's super soft, malleable. It's kind of warm to the touch. So it's I kind of use it as a blanket sometimes when I need a little nap down here. It's cozy. But I also think maybe it's bulletproof. I mean, I don't have any guns, but we could maybe test that out also at some point.
So then another question is, are these dangerous enough, potentially, that should be in good conscience warn the captain about them? I am just terrified that he might want to get them thrown overboard or something.
Yes, they are that dangerous. I think the captain would want to know.
We probably shouldn't we?
But no, we shouldn't throw them overboard, because then I can't study them.
Well, that's what I'm thinking too. As long as they don't pose any threat, and we have this valuable
information. They certainly pose a threat. Let's be clear about that.
Well, they like any kind of those artifacts always do when they're triggered. But if they seem right now that they are not going to go that route.
The only one I would be concerned about in that regard would be the almond-shaped one that seems to have grown in intensity, but I'll keep an eye out over the next couple days and see if it continues to do so or not. But yeah, we should probably tell the captain.
Okay. So with our findings and stuff, we should probably go to him next.
Yes.
Just us three, because though he may trust the crew, there are still some people who...
I mean, I trust Ursula as well.
Well, I trust all of the people that we had drinks with. I trust them. I just don't trust...
Even Valdis? I mean, he has that weird Deva thing.
Yeah, but he's very loyal to Ursula, and Ursula is a good judge of character.
Yeah, but he's also very loyal to some weird Deva.
I mean, I've seen weirder things when people are loyal to, like, rocks. It's a thing. In
we'll let the captain decide who else to tell. So, I'm gonna keep looking at this stuff and reading these books that I got from down there. So, whenever we can find time to get the captain over here. I think he was busy with Ursula.
Yeah, I think I'll wait until probably tomorrow.
Sounds good.
All right. Let me know if you need anything else.
That sounds like our transition to later that day when Ursula and the captain sit down and have a conversation about mothers.
Sounds good.
It's going to be the best conversation about mothers.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, maybe takes my time. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna meet at 6 p.m. And then like 6 rolls around, and I'm kind of like, oh, I've got to tie this knot, make sure it's all tied up, and this over here, and I got to make sure Dervin he got his toe injury taken care of, and got to make sure, and kind of delaying. Talking about this makes me nervous. Okay. And then eventually make my way to Ursula and kind of... So, my mother tried to kill you.
Yes. And then I'll shift myself very slowly and painfully so that I'm like sitting up to face him, man to man, if you will, and set my claymore up against where my bed hits the wall so it's easily displayed. My mother, my sister, and I were very good fighters during the 30 years of war that my country suffered through. And after that, we didn't know what to do with ourselves. But to save our land, to save our country, the people we love, we fought horrors, which I'm sure you've heard about even this far out at sea. We hunted them. My mother was very high up in the Die Kreuzreiter. I think that's how you say that. I'm going to butcher all of this because I picked German for some reason. She was very high up in the Die Kreuzreiter, and this is her sword, Grafenklau. When we went to investigate rumors of a horror in the mountains, we found something stronger than anything we'd ever fought before. And it's... When we fought your mother, what I assume was once your mother, I couldn't block it fast enough, and it took my eye as well as a good amount of flesh from my chest and shoulder. And my mother then engaged your mother in single combat while my sister stopped the bleeding. And they fought for a little while, but your mother's strength and speed were just too great, and she caught a fatal blow as I got to see my mother flung across the mine that we were in and crushed against a wall. In my rage, even with my experience, I rushed her, and with my mother's fallen blade sliced across her chest to get something shiny that fell on the ground, and I picked it up as I rolled away, hoping that it would be some kind of clue as to how to defeat this monster, and it was a picture of you in that locket. And something about losing that made the horror that is now your mother lose her mind, and she ran away from us screeching as we attempted to save my mother's life, but she was dead. We carried her body back to our fort, and my sister retired, but I couldn't let it go. I vowed to chase and end the horror that killed my mother and that has brought so much darkness to the land of Ison. And they granted me my mother's sword and the locket with which to try and seek her. Over the ensuing 2 years, I've fought my way across many different countries, only to find you by fate, circumstance. And maybe I should have told you when we met, but I didn't think that you would believe me. Having now seen the horrors that we can fight and the evil that is in the world, I believe you might now find this truer, easier. So I am sorry to bring you the news.
I have mostly come to terms with the fact that my mother is no longer around. I've assumed she either was dead or her plan was to get me away from the church, get me away from something, whatever caught her. And it sounds like if there's anything left of my mother, it's buried deep. And I don't think you have nothing to be sorry about. You did your job. You went to go destroy a horror. It just so happens that whatever it was, it caught my mom. Either my mother was possessed or something, or I am part horror myself.
If we can save your mother, I would like to try. But my understanding of horrors is that once they're turned, they can't go back. And it sounds like there are greater powers at work here than just an accidental horror.
Your mother was a hero.
I appreciate that.
We will honor her name.
Well, it's an uplifting conversation now that some things have come out. And at that point, it's, the sun has fallen over the horizon. The darkness of the sea is everywhere. There's no sign of land as you've turned and headed back up the bay towards the Vaticine, which is on the kind of the border between Castile and Vidaci. On the map, that would be somewhere under my picture, I think. But it will take a little bit to get there. You've got a couple of days on a voyage before you're going to arrive on land and have to head that direction. So I'm sure nothing exciting will happen aboard ship as the GM checks the poll to see what exciting thing you guys think should happen aboard ship. So that's a last chance for anybody who wants to vote for the first part, for the Fate Returning. or not vote, because then it could cause a tie, and that would, but that evening, everyone tries to sleep except for those of you who spend all night doing scientific experiments instead of sleeping because you're that way. Or those people who try to sleep but keep seeing visions of their mom as some abomination, which I'm sure is only like 4 of you, right? Everyone but Ursula, in case I wanted to be clear there. Anyways, the next morning dawns with some fun and excitement. Ashland. By the way, Captain, I'm sort of assuming that most of the crew have their own rooms, right? That's correct.
Well, I mean, on these types of boats, not every individual crew member has their own room. There's crew quarters where they sleep in like bunk beds and that sort of thing. But
right, I'm just talking about the party.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we could if it's big enough. Yeah. You convert one of the cargo spaces to extra.
Well, we'll go there because it's easy. And so, Ashlyn, you're waking up in the morning by like a frantic pounding on your door.
I murmur some curses and I throw on whatever's closest next to me, and I just open up the door with like a gun at my side.
Right. It's Giuseppe out there, and he seems to be glowing green and red.
Oh no.
And he's got kind of like a scared look on his face. And as soon as the door opens, like the light flares, and like these like slow tentacles of light seem to reach out from Giuseppe towards.
Oh no. Well, obviously, like, where am I in conjunction to the doctor?
You're probably really close. Like we talked about, cargo area being revamped. Most of it.
All right, I go
lab.
to his door and I like pound on it.
And I'm like 100% sure that the doctor sleeps in the lab. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pound on it.
That's true.
So you run away from Giuseppe, right? Like.
God, fuck. No, I can't. My personality dictates I stay.
Okay, there aren't a lot of exits from your room, right? We don't have fire safety codes on board ship, so.
All right. All right, Giuseppe, I don't know what's going on, but you need to like calm down and take a couple steps back. We're gonna go to the doctor, and we're gonna see what we can do for you.
Okay, so the tentacles keep reaching, or tentacles of light, which isn't really tentacle at all, mind you, just like arms, whatever.
Yeah, no.
Are continuing to head your direction. When you say that, Giuseppe pretty much just like collapses into the floor in kind of like a fetal position.
And I yell, "Help!" And I say fuck, and I go over to him and try to like look for vitals, like is he dead or something. In the meantime, I'm yelling for help too.
Okay. I think the doctor is likely to be the closest person because you would want to be near the lab as well.
Yeah.
Anybody on board would probably also hear something down, which is mostly crew.
Yeah.
So there are probably some crew coming this direction as well.
Yeah, if you start cursing on a boat, people will notice.
And I wave them over to keep them away from the lights, just to keep away from Giuseppe. Go get the doctor.
Okay, they basically like turn a corner, see that their eyes get really wide. They kind of take a step back and they totally run off towards the doctor right away. At this point, the light has encompassed like your hands,
No.
and it feels kind of tingly.
Yeah, no, actually. Where is my thing? I can resist sorcery.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, and that's just your virtue, right? So no hero point required.
No.
You do your thing, like you steel yourself against the light and that's encroaching upon you, and tear it. You can almost feel it tear itself off of you and back to Giuseppe. Giuseppe gives like a big scream when you do that.
Ah, fuck.
And this is probably where the doctor comes around the corner.
Oh, huh. That's fascinating. I have like that metal blanket like draped over my shoulder. I'll be right back.
We
I
should
take
just
her off.
the blanket.
Right back.
The blanket. You could have just thrown it on him.
Yeah, from around like a corner, you see the blanket just like thrown at you.
I catch it and I like wrap it around him. Maybe that will help him.
Okay, you do that. Captain, you get a crew member come running to your door.
Mm-hmm.
There's like there's a hasty knock.
I wake up. I throw on a belt of pistols, a brace of pistols, and I grab my sword and I open the door.
Captain, the Innismore lady is glowing, or no, excuse me, Giuseppe is glowing.
Okay. Make sure the ship. Inform the watch. Keep them. Tell them to keep an eye out on the sea for anything suspicious. And I rush down below decks.
Okay.
Is he still screaming?
Ashlyn, he has stopped screaming, although he's still squirming.
Okay.
But the blanket doesn't seem to do anything with the light at all.
Okay, so I throw it off of him and I like grab his face and I like force him to look at me. Like, focus. What's going on? How can I help you? What triggered this?
Okay. He blinks a couple of times. He looks at you.
What do you need?
I see you in my sleep. Whatever it is, it's not mine. It's yours. And he puts his hand on your shoulders. With that being said, your innate abilities, of resisting the sorcery, the glowing does start to recede right about now, and like he kind of does like a little bit of a relief. Esteban, what were you going and doing?
I'm gonna go grab that jewel and the almond thingy.
Okay. You've got a jewel stuck to somewhere and the almond thing under one arm.
Yep.
So is he still glowing?
He is. Looks like he's in the
Just
process of stopping glowing
magic
slowly.
artifacts
Okay.
at him until you
So whatever it was went back to him. Is that
Something-
like all the lights going back into him?
Yeah, that's would seem accurate.
Fuck.
Esteban,
Okay.
Ashlyn,
Esteban?
what happened?
Well, I think it's first up. I don't think either of us are really dressed to be out here, much less me. And I'm just like in a white tunic, that's very like unlaced and like pants that are hastily like pulled up.
I don't see the problem.
I think it's best that you, me, and other people have a discussion in the captain's quarters ASAP.
well, speaking of that, you might not need to even get there because here comes the captain, also half dressed as established, running down there with like his hand on a pistol towards the two of you. Captain, importantly enough, the Esteban has like some sort of metallic almond-shaped thing. It's about like 10 inches or so tall. And it's like got a bunch of cracks that are glowing in it that you can kind of see, especially down here in the below deck. He's got that tucked under one arm, but they don't seem to be paying any attention to it. They're paying attention to Giuseppe, who's on the floor, and just like the last bit of greenish light is disappearing from his face as you come around the corner.
Is he unconscious? Or is Giuseppe still awake?
Giuseppe is still awake, yes.
All
I'm
right.
gonna grab that blanket and wrap the almond in it.
Does Giuseppe look like he's in pain or anything?
He's
Distress?
better than he was.
He looks like he's in discomfort. It's hard to say if it's like physical or whatnot.
All right.
I'll go and kneel beside, and I look up at the doctor and say, "But what happened?"
Maybe we should go into my laboratory and talk about things in there.
I agree. And I pick up Giuseppe. And I think it's best we take him too while he's still conscious. I have a couple of questions.
He's doing okay. He gets up to his knees. Giuseppe does and says, "I think I'm feeling okay at the moment."
I reach out and I pull him up.
I think he says as he actually looks at you and even locks eyes as he says this. Says, "It seems like I'm okay as long as I'm near you."
Go on with it. Let's just go to the lab. Go to the lab. Captain?
Yes. And I don't know if there's any crew members around. I don't. If we need help carrying Giuseppe.
He can walk.
Okay.
He probably. I mean, he's a little bit. So one arm over somebody's shoulders, and he's in great shape.
Cool.
I'm kind of blushing as I walk past you guys. A big red face.
And you head to the lab.
Mm-hmm. I wait for everybody to step inside before I shut and lock the door.
Okay. Which makes sure that it keeps just the two of you in there, or three of you, excuse me.
4.
But before you guys talk, I am gonna talk to. I'm assuming Ursula, you're still pretty much out and not into standard stuff going around the deck. Still recovering.
Yep, I'm just probably hanging out in my room.
Yeah. Valdis, it's possible you might have heard some commotion. But
I mean, I guess I'll go check it out.
okay. You're not in any hurry, but you do you talk to some crew member who's like, "Oh yeah, that Giuseppe guy was glowing green this morning. Crazy. You guys are all kind of crazy. It's amazing the stuff we've encountered since you showed up."
Yeah,
You see that guy with the shark head? That's the stuff of my nightmares, you know. I can't even swim, right? Because most of us can't, right? And then there's sharks. It's that's what happens when you walk the plank, right? It's something with a shark head comes up and eats you. Man, stuff of nightmares. But yeah, it's been nice since you've been aboard.
I'm gonna miss Big T. Anyways, I lightly shove the guy sideways and then go past him.
Okay, with that quick vignette done, back to the lab. How's things going down there?
So we have a couple of things to discuss.
Okay.
I look over at the doctor.
You want me to? Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So, okay. We had a few artifacts, did some experiments, figured out a little bit about them. We got this here, little glowing almond thing. Well, not little. Don't really know what it does. Has some runes on it. It's glowing. Maybe it's getting more powerful. It's fine.
So as you're picking it up and holding it, a little piece of it flakes off, tink tink across the floor kind of thing. And where the space was, there's kind of a green plasma, moving energy thing or something under there. And it kind of just pops out a little bit, it rounds out where the crack is, it's kind of trying to get out, but not too hard.
That's new. We'll talk about that later. Set that down gently somewhere.
I pick up the piece with I tear off a piece of my shirt and I pick it up using that and I hand it over to the doctor.
I don't want to touch that.
Well, it fell off, so put it in a
don't
beaker or
know
something.
what this glowing thing does?
Hold on, let me get to the rest before we start asking questions.
You have 30 seconds before I throw it overboard.
I knew it. I knew it.
Captain, it's fine. I got it all in control.
If it explodes,
We
we all
have it.
die.
It's not going to
It will-
explode.
So far, it hasn't shown any signs since it's been on the ship that any explosions or any kind of.
I look at the glowing plasma and it falling apart. No
I said
signs of exploding, huh?
so far is the key word here.
It's a slow expansion. There's no exploding going on. Next up, we got this here glowing box. It only seems to glow when Ashland's around, so that's a little weird. So we got to solve that.
Is it the same glowing box?
No, it's a different glowing box. And honestly, if anything, yeah, you should be more afraid of this one because this is closer to the exploding box from before than the almond. So just
You're not helping
fine.
things. I elbow him in the ribs. You're not helping us.
Ow! Listen, Captain, just give me a few minutes. It's fine. Okay, next is this jewel here. It sticks to things, and I like put it on my forehead, and you see it just sticks. It's kind of like a magnet, but it sticks to anything. Pop it off. And then there's this metallic sheet here. I'm quite fond of this. I think it's bulletproof, but it's like malleable, and it can move. And it also kind of emanates a little bit of heat. It makes a really nice
pull out a
blanket.
pistol and point it at. You're holding the blanket thing?
Yeah.
I just point it straight at you.
Wait a second. He says he thinks it's bulletproof.
So the thing is, we're not very confident of what any of these things do.
We haven't been able to do much on a ship as far as.
I can't lie, Captain. I'm kind of intrigued.
No, don't do it.
I'm not confident that I won't accidentally kill you. So I'm not going to shoot you. In fact, anything that could potentially harm any of us, we should try to get rid of as soon as possible.
Wait a second. Let's not be too
Well,
harsh.
To be fair, Captain, your pistol can potentially harm us.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes,
We
but
have
I
a-
know how it works.
Okay, but how much gunpowder do you have on board? That could blow the entire ship to smithereens.
True. If our powder kegs all were to ignite, we would go down. That's true.
Yeah, and that's known to happen, isn't it?
It has happened before. We try to be very careful. It's not that common. But the thing is, we understand what causes it to explode.
Can you tell me the chemicals involved?
Black powder.
Emphatically nods.
The chemicals that make up black powder, what are they?
I feel like I should either
Some salt,
give him a hero
Peter,
point or take it away for that nerdy science pedantry.
Hero point.
salt, Peter, and black.
So we only kind of understand how it works. Well, I mean, I understand how it works. What I'm saying is, these things just need to be studied a little more. They don't really pose a danger. In fact, I think I can use them to solve our Giuseppe problem. But first, Ashlyn, what happened? He was glowing and then he got around you and he says he doesn't need to glow when he's around you. Kind of like the box. It's a little weird. Let's find the connection.
No, there is no connection. I don't think.
No, there's definitely a connection.
But the thing is, like, so he knocked on my door and he was already glowing and then these things came out of him towards me. I didn't see any light that came towards the other crew members when they came down below decks.
Yeah, and you're trying to tell me there's not a connection to you. Okay, sure. Go on.
None that I know of myself. I don't understand why there would be.
Giuseppe is like nodding at there's a connection to Ashlyn, just in case that's relevant.
So then, I look over at him. So then, what has been going on in your head? Because you have not been truthful then. What are you feeling?
Wait, hold on. We're not. What else happened?
That's where I am very much more curious about it. Like he collapsed and then he was in pain and then he tried grabbing my hand.
Right, and the light stuff was trying to get to you, right?
Yes, but it didn't because I wouldn't allow it.
You wouldn't allow it. Okay, so you can stop glowing energy. Interesting. Got it.
Yeah. It's a thing I can do. Like every once in a while, not all the time, obviously.
Sure. Okay. Go on. What else did he do?
And that's exactly what happened until you came and you almost ran away with a blanket. And the blanket did not help. It did not seem to.
I didn't think it would. That's why I didn't really think about it. But you seemed kind of insistent.
Well, if he was going to explode, at least it wouldn't be all over the ship.
I don't think he's going to explode.
Well, then what is your philosophy?
Well, whatever's in him wants to be in you.
It's not going to happen.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess it might make him explode.
We don't know.
Okay, Giuseppe, come here.
Yeah. Can we?
I'm gonna take that jewel. I'm gonna put it on his forehead.
Okay. It sticks there.
Doesn't change at all.
I mean, he looks slightly more bedazzling now. It doesn't change at all.
All right, and the glowing box. Bring it closer to Giuseppe. Anything?
Nope.
Okay. I take the jewel off his forehead and I put it in the box.
I'm sort of assuming you'd probably done that before anyways, but nothing happens.
Okay. All right, I set those aside. All right, so we've ruled those two things out. There's something else.
What makes you Giuseppe? Like, what's compelling you to be closer to me?
I don't know.
Are there voices in your head? Is it?
It is like after the garden, when I started to feel and hear people's thoughts and emotions above and beyond my own. Yours were always the loudest and the most obvious. And then as the time has gone on, it's like there's something that isn't me, but that still wants or to be close to you. But to be fair,
so something that isn't you that wants to be close to me. Got it.
I mean, all of this doesn't sound much like me.
I take the almond, and it's full of sign earth energy, from what I can tell. Correct?
Yes.
And I think I can assume that it now has more sign earth energy in it than it did before.
Yes.
And it seems to be struggling to contain that energy.
Yes.
Okay.
I may not understand what is going on here, but perhaps the energy that was originally came out of the box, maybe it was intended for Ashley, but Giuseppe got in the way somehow.
I think you are on the right path, but it's more likely that Ashlyn deliberately forced it off of her.
Of course,
found a new host.
Forced it off of me. The sign earth, we have no understanding of it, and very rarely do you come out of it unscathed or sane at the end.
Well, the rest of us seem to be pretty sane.
So far.
It's been a while.
So it's my fault that he's this way.
Yes.
So Valdis, you can show up at the lab door if you want.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Come in. Shut the door. Shut the door.
Okay. I heard Giuseppe was glowing. I had to see that.
Yeah. So you remember when the box exploded?
Yeah.
Some of that energy, it seems, was meant for Ashlyn, and she did not want it, and we think it's in Giuseppe now.
And he can't contain it. So it's probably a matter of time before it becomes too much for him.
I see. So,
Do you think he's going to die?
I mean, well, yeah, obviously, eventually.
dude, like soon.
Like practicing my useless answers. I'm just gotta get better at him.
Like, he's probably, I mean, what is he? He's like 35, 40 years old. He's probably only got like 20 for 30 years left.
He's a noble. They live a long time, unfortunately.
So, Valdez, just importantly enough, when you walked into the room, there's this like glowing almond-shaped thing sitting on one of the desks. It's really noticeable, right? Because it's glowing, right? And we've got a lot of glowing, but it stands out. But just as you look at it, like another piece of it falls off, like making kind of a little metallic sound on the table, and like a little like greenish. I feel like I'm really heavy into tentacles lately, but anyways, a little greenish like plasma tentacle like kind of like comes out and like starts this kind of swaying in the breeze, except for there isn't a breeze.
Should we be worried about that?
Yes.
No, it's fine.
We should.
Maybe
There is a lot of signer energy.
In one room. Maybe we should remove it.
Well, real quick, does the almond-shaped thing fit in the box?
No, it's much bigger.
Okay. I haven't been able to determine there's any connection between these four items.
I mean, other than they clearly seem like they're made with some of the same technologies, but their purposes seem quite different. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, with
they don't seem to interact with each other.
I mean, actually, the almond is the one that's the least like the others because it is probably not metallic, if you remember.
Right. Yeah. It's organic. So I am going to wrap the almond in the blanket and just kind of. So there's a lot of sign earth energy in here, and my best guess is this thing absorbs that. So why don't you, Captain, grab a crew member to take this to the other end of the ship and just leave it over there, away from us?
No, we need to keep an eye on it. I will go there. If I need to relocate my quarters, we have a board for anybody else to be messing around with it.
Okay, sure. Go run this to the end of the ship.
It's
You don't have any.
It's not gonna blow up, is it?
Probably not.
That doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence.
I'll take it.
Don't worry. I'm confident. No. You gotta get it away from Sign Earth Energy, and you're full of it.
You're full of it.
Yes, I am. As are you. I thought I've explained this.
Wait, am I full of it?
Yes, you're also full of it.
Okay, just checking.
Ursula too. She is also full of it. The only person not full of it is Ashlyn.
I'm gonna tell her you said that.
So I hand the little package to Ashlyn.
I take it and I kind of look at it for a second. Captain, I believe I need some new quarters.
Yeah, the ship is pretty full. I can try and arrange something for you in the bow.
I could.
Rooms there.
That's fine. I can make do.
So there's a loud crack sound, like the almond splits open in Ashlyn's arms there. Just kind of like comes into two distinct pieces. And there's a little blob of green in there. And as you look down at it, Ashlyn, you can make out what looks to be maybe a head and some eyes.
You think this was an egg?
Yep. You
just burned the spectral baby on my ship.
Should have put this together just a little bit before I did.
Yeah.
But I definitely moved closer and this is fascinating. We keep it in the blanket though, because we want to keep it warm.
Right? Yeah.
I almost would have preferred if it exploded at this point.
I'm curious too. I'm gonna reach out and kind of poke at it.
Yeah, me too. I give it a finger. Ooh, is it? Or you're a little cutie, aren't you?
I think I'm gonna name it Squat.
Ah, that is a terrible name.
That is the best name. He looks like
I cared for it. I name it.
I got him.
Okay, I have to give recognition to the people who voted for Beggar last time around, because now it's what came out of the egg is a baby.
Perfect.
A baby what?
That's a great
cute.
question, Valdez.
It doesn't matter. Its name is Esteban Jr.
No, it's not. That's a horrible name.
It is what?
We're
Junior?
overlooking
How
this.
dare you?
You guys,
Junior. That is so foolish.
you guys are focusing on the wrong thing.
What?
It's not. No, I don't care what its name is. I want to know what it is.
It is Esteban Jr. That is what it is.
It is
Well, what
Squat.
is
His name is
Esteban
Squat.
Jr.?
That.
We can put the middle name as Esteban, but it has to be Squat as the first one.
Oh my!
Anyway, here, can I hold it just for a minute?
Sure.
Having babies while at sea is bad luck.
Dear
You
Captain,
don't understand how the
centuries
crew
ago
react.
they used to think that having women at sea was bad luck. It's mere superstition and should not be paid any attention to.
Because
Yeah.
look at what you have now. You
Yeah,
have
but
Ursula, who's a badass.
That's not the point. This thing is. Do I need to go get Ursula? I think I should go.
No.
She needs to
So,
rest.
Greg, what can you tell me about this little guy here?
Okay, so
or girl, or thing, whatever.
we're gonna stick with thing for the moment. A lot
They-
of that green plasma slime around it appears to just been kind of stuff in the egg because it's kind of sloughing off a little bit. So you're
Mhm,
little drops of green plasma slime around the blanket and table. Although it almost kind of shivers with its own motion, but we'll leave that for later. The thing itself actually looks kind of it looks a little insectoid. Like the eyes are kind of the multifaceted eyes, and it's got only 4 limbs, but they kind of have a carapace type look to them. Although really small, because I mean you're talking it's probably no more than a foot long,
Okay.
and it seems to be just kind of soaking in the stuff around, looking at things. Its head seems to be moving towards sounds of noise and all of that.
You think it's sentient?
Yeah, I'm gonna go get Ursula. I'll be back, guys.
Uh-oh. It could be. It seems to be very aware of its surroundings. That is generally a sign. Well, I mean, obviously everything needs to be aware of its surroundings, but it depends on how they are taking in that information. I think we would need more time to tell whether or not it is I mean, it's obviously sentient. It's a thinking thing. It's whether or not it is sapient. That's the question. Definitely need some more time for that. Captain, how are you doing?
I'm wondering why I'm even awake for this. I would rather if not even. If nobody told me this had happened, I'd be a happier man.
I'm sorry about that. We were going to tell you, actually, today. It just happened a lot sooner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So Valdez, you knock on Ursula's door.
Yep.
She may be hurt, but she's itching to move, I'm sure. So
Yeah.
I'll use my sword as a cane again because I'm a bad person and go and unlock the door.
Ursula, I know you're here, but there's a thing. There's a thing in the lab. You're the monster expert. Yeah.
All right, and then I'm gonna chuck an arm over your shoulder so that I don't have to use my sword as a cane.
Mm-hmm.
And mess up the deck.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and I will haul you back downstairs.
God.
I'm gonna lock the door.
You think that you honestly think that's going to stop us?
That's not the point. So,
mean-
Captain, do I have permission to at least give it a few days? He's awfully cute.
What does that mean? What do you mean? You want to? You're
No.
I
going
mean, it's
to?
a baby.
I mean, we can't just abandon it. Like, look at it.
We can.
No,
We
we
can
can't.
abandon it.
No,
You
I
know
mean,
what? It looks like it would.
this is like a
I bet you it
live
could swim.
insight to what the Sign-Earth were. Maybe perhaps were they book people? We don't know. This thing we could study and see. Like, this opens up a whole new.
It could be a sign Earth.
Yeah, it could be. We don't know. That's why we need to keep it.
What happens when it turns into a blood killing
Oh,
monstrous
Not
tentacle sea
when
monster?
if it does, and you're blowing it out of proportion. Does he look like he have tentacles?
if it does, then Ursula happens. Come on.
Yeah, we all know that. She throw like a claymore at its
Good
face.
point. I'm gonna go open the door and I'm
Oh, hey,
looking
look!
for
There's
Ursula.
Ursula.
We should get Ursula's opinion on this, huh?
Oh.
Valdis, what the hell is going on?
That hideous fucking abomination emerged from that.
Oh, how dare you
Hideous.
call it an
Julia is
abomination?
not an abomination.
It's literally the ugliest baby I've ever seen.
Dude, it's got bug eyes and chitin.
It's more handsome than you.
You be careful what you say to Valdis.
He's talking about murdering a baby.
That is not a baby.
It literally came out of an egg. It's a baby.
It's
That's the
actually
definition of a baby.
Can you tell me some definitive scientific reason why we should keep it here, other than your own innate curiosity?
It could be sign Earth.
That qualifies under innate curiosity.
No,
No,
that's
No, this could be a link also towards what is causing these abominations to happen in the first place. Because they're taking the artifact.
I could not describe to you in an hour what this could mean. There are so many possibilities as to the information that could be gleaned from this creature.
If what if it dies? What if we're not able to keep it alive and it just dies? Could you dissect it afterwards and still gain something useful?
Probably, yeah.
Good.
Just
I say we
let me-
kill it and you can do that.
Well,
No.
There's
let me-
invaluable information to
Honey,
retrieve.
come on out
There's
into
more
the
valuable
hallway. Are
information.
you all right?
Live things.
Are you okay? You should probably just, if you're not glowing anymore, and it is okay to be in love with Ashlyn, though I don't think you'll get anywhere, you should probably just go.
I'm not sure it's love, but I guess that's a possibility.
I murmur under my breath. It is totally not.
Oh, that's funny.
I can wait outside, I guess, but it's been pretty interesting in here.
You got a chance, Giuseppe. Don't blow it.
They woke me up for this.
He does, in fact, step outside.
Captain, would you have murdered Big T?
Yeah.
Big T didn't hatch
Yeah.
out of an egg.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway,
But Big T was a sapient creature, and you decided that it was perhaps immoral to simply murder him?
do I sense anything horror-like out of this weird creature baby thing?
No, and your sword isn't glowing, if that's relevant.
Well, I doubt that it's evil, so...
You
Well,
see?
it's not inherently evil. It could turn out to be malicious in some way, shape, or
What-
form. But
Anyone could.
this is beyond my realm of expertise, so...
What is it doing? Is it watching us? Is it just like curled up? What? What's it?
I mean,
what's
it's
it doing?
definitely aware of the surroundings. Like it kind of moves its head toward who's ever's talking, who's ever making noise. Um, not a lot of light down here, so not too much else. But that's it does seem at least able to interact with its surroundings. It does not look like it's able to like walk or anything at this point.
Valdis, does your Deva have anything to say about this odd creature?
On the rare
Yeah, you're not killing the Deva.
Not that you could, anyways. Yeah, I'll go ahead and ask her if she'll answer.
She'll answer that she does not know anything.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, nothing.
Ugh. All right. Well, if it turns evil, come get me. I'm going back to sleep.
If it turns evil, come get me. I'm going back to bed. Okay. I'm gonna help you back to bed.
I can have Giuseppe help me. I think I need to talk to that young man about some things as well.
You need to give him the talk. Gotcha.
Yes, much like we once had.
Mm-hmm.
He has something that he needs to give to Ashlyn.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
I'm sure.
Oh my gosh, guys! Really?
It's just waiting to burst forth from him.
It's true. It is. It reaches. It calls to her.
And go deep inside of her.
Are you
Okay,
really?
you
Are we
all
having
lose
this- are
one
we
hero
having this
point for this
discussion?
conversation.
Really? Really? And now,
Trying to guide
Ashlyn is like
a
bright
young
red.
In all seriousness, though, you know,
This is the sort of thing that gets a captain mutinied.
Keeping alien grasshopper babies.
well, no one's allowed in here anyway.
It stays in here. If it
Absolutely.
if it causes any problems, it's on you.
I am fully aware.
Okay. I'm going back to bed now.
And we fully expect that thing not to leave this room or eat the crew.
Never said anything about it not eating crew, but okay.
We'll make sure it doesn't eat the crew.
Eating the crew constitutes as causing a problem.
Fine. I don't think it feeds on flesh anyway. It seems to be fed by Sign Earth energy.
Great.
Cool.
We have tons of that in the hold. No problem.
No.
Okay.
Well, apparently you're full of it, so you go ahead and nurse the thing.
I'm going to.
I storm out of the room.
Well, I think that went better than I thought it would.
Better's a word that may be applied to that situation.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with Junior here, though. I'm actually not fully convinced now that it feeds on Sign Earth energy. Could have just been a coincidence and just time.
Well, we could just do some experiments, feed it like fruit or leaves, and see what happens. Other bugs, maybe.
Maybe. We'll see what happens.
All right.
Okay, it seems like we've sort of the chat still wants you to feed Carlos to something. So, anyways, that opportunity's out there. Just remember that if you need an expendable crew member, you might have one.
Perfect.
We got that settled. Ursula, did you want to grab Giuseppe?
Yep, I'm gonna talk to him about how to properly woo an educated woman, and about the feelings that he's having to try and make sure that he is actually feeling love and not just like lust or admiration.
I'm
Okay.
taking notes.
I feel like,
It's good to have a refresher on this stuff.
I mean, we've made it pretty far without rolling dice, but I do think I want you to roll an empathy. for this.
Mm.
And it's probably a panache empathy because you're trying to tell him something while paying attention to what he's feeling.
What if we did resolve empathy?
What if we did resolve empathy?
I mean, I think that's if he's talking to you and you're trying to just deal with it. So I
Ah,
think we're sticking with panache.
okay. That's fine. So that's a 2 on a trait. That's a 0 on the skill and a flare.
You get flair, absolutely.
Woo.
Nice. Yep. That's a 1.
Okay.
It's a 1 raise.
Well, that's better than 0. So just looking at the positive there. Okay. You give him your, you got your thing. You do your speech. If there's anything you want to, you can do that. But you get pretty mixed feelings about exactly what it is he's feeling. It doesn't seem to fit easily into your category, so you don't really get a good idea of what's really going on with him.
What? I'm inexperienced in the arena of love? What?
That's crazy.
Who would have thought?
Some people min-max their character there and others don't.
Hey, I still talk to people. I'm just not good at it.
Yep.
All right.
Any wisdom or nuggets of wisdom you want to give to Giuseppe that we can hear?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to tell him that any battle can be won as long as your heart is in the right place and you put in the time and effort it requires to properly strategize and overcome.
It's very chivalric of you to look at love and war as the same thing.
God, no wonder you're 50 and single.
War is all I've ever known.
So, okay, but with that, you guys disperse and we're gonna sail for a little bit. I think
Yep.
there's a couple of interesting things
That happened.
along the sail we'll at least mention. First off, Esteban, do you try and feed the thing?
Yeah, I'll try a various assortment of foods, liquefied foods, solid foods. Probably don't have any milk on board.
No. But as it turns out, one thing you do have on board is probably limes, maybe oranges, depending.
Yeah, true,
and it seems
true.
to really like fruit.
Nice, perfect. See, what kind of monster would consider this a monster? It likes fruit.
I'll bet Hitler liked fruit too.
Luckily for us, 7C
Who is
doesn't
this
have a Hitler
Hitler?
analogy yet. That's for that 7C 1900s campaign we'll do sometime.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But
Oh
until
my.
then, the Giuseppe does seem to want to spend a lot of time near Ashlyn. And I guess he's probably going to try out some of that wooing thing that Ursula was talking about.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to roll some dice for him because why not, right?
I really hope I'm around to see this.
Oh God.
Well, he's not the Bernoulli son that's good at panache, so
No.
Can I try to feed him some lines to assist him?
Oh.
I feel like the party's doing an assist roll on. I'm not sure how to think of this, Ashlyn. I'm not sure they're in your side here.
I don't know either.
Wow, there's a couple of 10s. He got 2 successes.
Oh, wow. You slob.
Well, okay, so Ashlyn, that's really just for your information. But he is hanging out, and he is in fact not a complete douche.
Wow.
Which is very unusual for any of Giuseppe or any of Bernoulli's sons. This one included.
This one especially.
At some point. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just like during this time that he's like following me around, I'm trying to get stuff done. Like I'm just bright, like red and stuttering.
Aww.
Captain, at some point, I actually do approach you with the blanket, and I kind of like hold it up in front of me. Eh? Can you help me test this? I mean, not
Are you sure?
actually at me. We could just hang it up somewhere.
He just shoots you.
Sure. Yeah, we can set it up so it's pinned on all four corners somewhere,
Mhm.
and it's like kind of facing the.
Hey, we don't happen to have a like a dead pig on board, do we? Like a
No, we've got some salted pork, probably.
I need like a big slab of meat.
What for?
Name things that are hard to find on a ship for 100.
Big slabs meat.
Oh, well, even if it could stop a bullet, that doesn't mean it won't hurt a lot. And I'd like to see what it does to flesh, even, if it does stop a bullet.
Well, you could.
We could just grab a crew member.
No.
No. Well, first we'll shoot it, obviously, beforehand.
I've heard Carlo is available.
Carlo's available.
We can test his resolve and his loyalty.
When we get to port, we can. You can do all of the experimenting you want.
Oh, okay, perfect. But let's try this. Let's try this out. Let's see what it does.
Sure. Yeah. No. We put it over the rail of the ship. Kind of pin it. Attach it to some ropes or whatever, and yeah, I'll pull out a pistol and.
So the pistol does not go through it. In fact, after you look at it, there isn't even a mark where the pistol hit.
Where did the little musket ball go?
Well, it wasn't pinned up to anything, so there was some give when it hit the blanket, and it just kind of dropped. It ricocheted a little tiny bit, but not a lot.
Okay, cool.
Very interesting.
It is very tough. I would say there's more. I mean, as armor, it would be fantastic. You could wear it as clothing, wear it as a cloak or something. But there could be even more uses for it. It would be certainly useful. How much like square footage is this actually?
It's about 8 feet by 4 feet, so it's pretty big.
If I had
more than enough to cover a person. Sorry, continue.
If I had a lot more of this, sails, turning this into a sail, that's the first thing. Having invincible sails would give us a big advantage.
I hadn't thought about that.
But we don't have enough. If we find more, though, we could perhaps...
I may be able to eventually replicate it. It might take some work, though.
Okay. We've done some testing. We've done some Giuseppe. We've fed the thing.
Real quick, Greg, I want to... It emits heat, correct?
Yes.
It's not like radiation, is it?
Could be.
Oh, perfect. Great. I've been sleeping with that.
I mean, it's definitely some sort of radiant heat energy you've got that doesn't meet any of your normal criteria for how energy is produced.
Cool.
I mean, if you were a modern scientist, radiation would be a really good guess.
Right. But I am not. I'll run more experiments.
Okay. I'm going to give one more call for anyone who wants to do anything exciting for the next couple of days aboard ship before something happens.
I will eventually approach Ashlyn or send Valdis to go get Ashlyn for me and, make sure that she's okay with Giuseppe kind of hitting on her. Because, if she doesn't like it, I'll beat him up, but...
We'll take him behind the water barrels, and we'll teach him that it's not okay.
I look over at Ursula and I give you like a look. But I'm not sure because he did say something about how he's not sure about how he feels, whether or not it's what's in him versus him. I mean, and he's Vidachi, they're assholes. But I mean, he seems like a nice guy.
There
What?
are there are worse young men to try your hand at.
Yeah. And I like start blushing and I start to stutter a little bit.
Should you ever need to talk, I'm here. My experiences may be old now, but
I welcome any kind of wisdom you have.
probably launch into something about tactics with you as well.
Oh yes.
Get an embarrassing story about when Ursula was in her 20s and then had her first encounter with an interested guy, and she was super awkward about it because all she's known is how to defeat things and like being at war and killing things, and
She had never had a gentleman caller.
basically, and then it was really awkward, but she enjoyed it afterwards, and that was one of the parts that helped her continue going through the war that she'd been in since she was like 5.
Oh.
And in return, like Ashlyn starts talking to you about like her life in court and how like everybody's always been like backstabbing. You can't really trust anybody, which is why she prefers to be in the dirt and exploring things. And
Fair
she's
enough.
never interacted with other people who had that kind of overt like attraction towards her.
Fair enough. Well, if he ever hurts you, I will stab him repeatedly.
Well, it's good to know.
Yeah.
I've already
That's
stabbed
true.
him. Just want to point that out.
Thank you, Captain.
I did one pre-stabbing just to get it out of the way. make
Could
sure
do it
that's
again.
Yeah.
You need me to.
Okay.
Thank you, Captain. Please don't lurk outside my door. It weirds me out.
Whoa.
Looking inside. Doing it.
Well, the love story is going great. And as you guys are sailing along one day while the sun is bright in the sky, suddenly there like clouds start forming right ahead, and like almost impossibly fast, a small storm hits the ship.
Hmm.
This is enough to get all of your like attention, so you're kind of on board. It seems strange. Above
What do we
deck,
need
I
to
should
do?
say.
I look at the captain.
Strange storm.
Well, I mean, as you look ahead, you can see like I don't know, maybe it's there's something large in the water up ahead. You were thinking whale at first, but now you're not thinking that anymore because it seems darker and like round, big and round, rather than like a whale.
Big and round. How far out ahead are we talking?
You're thinking you'll hit it in, a minute or so.
Yeah, no,
Current
hard to
speed.
port.
And
Danger.
as you start to turn, like a water spout comes from it, which is really strange. Doubly so because there seems to be a lady standing on the water spout.
Oh no. I look over at the doctor. Do you think it is who I'm thinking it is? Do you think it's Mob?
This is.
Real quick, am I still pretty
No?
injured?
I was going to say that. Sorry, Ursula. Half of your dramatic wounds are gone at this point. We're
Okay,
taking one
so
off a day.
Would be on deck. Okay.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
done.
if it is Mab, then we might as well just, make peace with our gods and call it a day.
Right. Well, the thing is, I wouldn't imagine her wanting to be involved in any of this, but I guess we're gonna
That
see.
seems real dangerous.
Greg, based on any legends I might know, does this seem like her style?
Storm, check. Kraken, check. Yeah, I think it might.
Doesn't her lair like somewhere at the bottom of the ocean or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking great.
Mm.
You know what? Actually, I think it might be. Yep. Captain. Captain.
During this whole time, I'm been shouting orders and trying to help the crew keep control of the ship so we don't sink in the storm. But yeah, I'm not going anywhere near her if we can avoid it.
Oh, we can.
Yeah. We definitely have a problem, Captain.
So she approaches the ship. Within view, you can see that it's a unearthly, beautiful lady. Her hair, however, is like black and covered with maybe seaweeds or something. Elegantly, though, not like just draping there. And her eyes are kind of blazing with a blue darkness, and the storm seems to gather around her even stronger the closer she comes to the ship. And the wind, and there's some lightning, and it all is like one of those kind of sailor's nightmares that's happening at the moment around you. Everybody is running around. You can see your crew is barely holding it together. There,
I'm gonna
Captain.
spend a hero point and activate my leadership ability to keep them. To try and keep them a little bit so that they aren't useless.
Right.
Is my sword glowing?
No.
Okay.
I kind of grab onto the nearest rope, but I bow respectfully.
So the words that come out of her mouth kind of feel like the storm itself is talking. But as soon as she gets near the ship, she says, you can hear it. It's, where is it?
Gonna have to be more specific.
I go down deck.
I go down below deck. Or no, I'm gonna beat the doctor down there.
We're like racing down there.
I know what she wants.
We're gonna give it to her.
My lady,
sorry, Esteban. So I'll get to Ashley. I'll give you in a second. But Esteban, I think he's faster than you.
I mean, yeah, probably. He doesn't know I wasn't going to do the same thing he's going to do.
Well, yeah, but he gets there first regardless, right?
That's fair, yeah.
Okay, Ashlyn, you were saying something.
my lady, would you please tell us more of what you're looking for that we could help you? And I still bow.
So her gaze, which at this point had just been kind of like, the lightning bolts looking everywhere kind of look, turns towards you with this kind of anger and malice of the seven seas. But as she lays eyes upon you, her expression changes, and actually the lightning bolts disappear from her eyes, and she almost like cocks her head to the side in surprise or something.
I don't. She's just being addressed like that. So, what is it that we may help you with? And I kind of straighten out from my bow.
What
With
is
an air
this?
of confidence that I do not have.
What is this plan you have, Morgan?
Looking around.
Morgan? I thought
Who?
your name was.
She totally called you Morgan, in case that's relevant.
I look around some more. My name, my fair lady, is Ashlyn. But I do not know from what you speak of, but I would be more than happy to help you.
There's a moment of silence as she just regards you. At which point, Ricardo, what's your... I assume you grabbed the thing?
Yeah, this little baby bug thing.
As a side note, it doesn't seem to talk or make noise. It never has.
I pick it up and I hold it out at like arm's length.
Captain, just I will take it to her. Let me do the talking.
Oh, the trust.
I stick it in your arms, and then I pull out a pistol.
No pistols. No pistol. Pistols bad.
Maybe it's bulletproof, like the blanket. You never know. We should do some experiments, perhaps.
Oh no!
I think we should just give it to her.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yes. But if she sees the pistols, it might anger her. Probably not a good idea.
Esteban, I would just shut up and start walking.
Right.
Yeah, okay, guys. I run back up on deck.
You run back up deck with the thing. As soon as you come on board, you have the lady's complete attention. Her gaze shifts away from Ashlyn and onto you, and you can see the lightning bolts and anger return as you approach there. As you get near the edge of the ship, she says, "It is small."
Yes, my lady. It was only born within the last few days. Hatched
have
from
been
an egg.
born. They were destroyed. Gone. Left.
So this is Sign Earth.
Yes.
What is it?
It is what never should have been put upon the face of this world.
Ah, so the captain is right. We should have killed it.
What is it called?
As you have said, you call them the signers. Here, hand it to me.
That's
And
a
she,
sign
she descends down from her pillar of water to right next to Esteban. By the way, I mean, she's got this otherworldly presence. You can feel the power emanate from her, the salty spray, the smell of 1,000 oceans, the both sea and storm and fish and the depths all seem to come into your senses as you get within a couple feet of her there. But she holds out her hand for the thing.
I'm activating my hubris for the moment, and I step forward. What exactly is this creature? How can we keep it here with us so we can study it?
Well, you can take your hero point for defying Mab. That seems good.
Right, because,
Yep. I would also like to take this opportunity to ask my Deva, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you on being able to at least get me away from this death trap? I might be willing to make a deal.
The Davis says 4.
4. That is a
It's not
low
0.
number. That is a low number, though.
But it's not 0.
That's true. It's not 0.
You would take this upon yourself instead of destroying it. It is now turned to Ashlyn, of course, as she has stepped right in there as well. Ricardo, I expect you're not very far away, with your pistol out pointed at the thing, or
No, it's just at my side. I'm not pointing it at anybody. Is she stepped foot on my boat?
Not technically. I mean, she's hovering above it now.
She should know that this is my fucking domain.
This is my house. Dude, I can't even list how little she cares.
Right.
No, she better care. It's like a natural law of the universe.
Sure.
She'll respect it.
Okay.
Or I'll remind her.
I feel like this is that time where Ashlyn makes a convince roll.
Yes.
It's going to require a lot of raises.
All
Let me
right.
calculate that in my head real quick before you roll.
Okay.
Okay, got my number of raises to convince Mab. You get flair.
Oh yeah, that's right. So I
And
have.
it's going to be panache, probably, unless you've got a real wits way of going down this.
I mean, I have either wit or panache. I can be very witty when I want to be.
In general, I assume this is panache. You're trying to convince her you'll be good
its caretaker.
as a caretaker of this thing rather than her, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Let's go. I can roll. So that's 8.
I imagine that Ursula knows the least about Mab and is stuck very heavily between a fight response for some scary otherworldly thing and a flight response because it's actually kind of terrifying, and everybody here seems to be very on edge.
Mm-hmm.
I got 5.
Okay. That was not the number I had in my head, but it's a good one, and it was close. She turns to you and asks, "What would the Morrigan wish with the Sign Earth?"
I don't know what she wants with it, but what I want is to learn more of them. And
Are you not the Morrigan? She looks at you again.
I feel like this is a trap.
Do I?
Hey, Greg.
My name I go by that I call myself now. I'm like working around this. Is Ashlyn.
Could be non-committal.
Okay, so
yeah.
since I assume Esteban's question is going to be, does he know what the Morrigan is?
Yeah.
And Ashlyn, you would know the answer to this because the Morrigan is in theory like a legendary warrior chosen by the Fae to help them. Usually fight the cause of the human people.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah.
But it's just legend. You both know that.
Uh-huh.
But are there any particular signs?
I'm very flattered that she's calling me that. Very flattered.
The warrior.
Right.
You know what? Screw this. My lady, yes, of course she is the Morgan, but she is too humble to admit it.
They're throwing her under the bus.
What the fuck?
Well,
I was
remember,
just fine.
if someone asks if you're a god, you say yes, right? So
Yeah. I'm doing it for her.
Right.
You say yes.
I was doing it in the most roundabout way ever. What? What are you doing?
We are but her humble assistants, her servants, and we of course will take care of this entity, this child.
So
What?
the number that I was after was 6, and you were 1 away. But Esteban just came to your aid. That sounds like an extra raise to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure it was a successful thing, but you've at least caused her enough consternation. So she looks a bit at the two of you and says, "For now, since it is small and currently harmless, I will entrust it upon you. But you owe me."
Most of my friends are playing
Oh
And-
no!
I don't like
"And
this.
I will return when the time is right."
What is it exactly you're looking for? To pay for payment. So I can best meet your
Anything she wants.
They state now.
My payment is mine and mine alone. But I'm sure that I will need to converse a little bit about your return, Morrigan. And with that, her pillar fades back into the ocean. The Kraken thing disappears beneath the waves, and the storm starts to break.
I look over and I whack the doctor on the shoulder. What the hell?
I have a baby in my arms. Would you be careful?
What the hell?
You should have just let her take the damn thing.
No, look at it. We can study it. We can figure out its
Oh
origins.
yeah, we can figure out its origins and all the mysteries of the Sign Earth before Matt
Yes!
comes back to kill us all.
Well,
I mean,
it sounded like she only wanted it to die. Who? Who is that?
Oh, that was Map. And listen, this went
she's
fabulously.
Yeah,
like, it could not have gone better.
actually it was one of the better things I've ever like. It was actually a really good interaction.
Yeah,
Nobody died.
Yeah, most people don't live through an encounter like that.
Nobody was cussed. I mean, for the most part, but I don't know.
Well, we might have been. You and me might have been a little bit.
A little bit, maybe.
But the rest of you are fine.
Totally fine.
Just a little bit of a curse.
I mean, Beavis, it's
I mean, we just owe a Queen of the Fae a bit of a favor, but it's fine.
Yeah.
We?
No, it's
Yeah.
Well, with that, I think that's our end for tonight's session, at least for the role playing. But let's do a quick wrap up before we sign off. Before I start the wrap up, I do want to make sure and ask I got to check our poll. And it looks like we have a tie for which one of these characters between the Queen of Swords, that'd be Ursula, and the Knight of Cups, which is Valdis, who will get their session next week.
I'm offended, fans.
But since that's a tie, and we do ranked choice voting kind of stuff, or single transferable vote in this case, the whoever voted for Esteban should either let me know in chat, or if they can vote again. I don't think they can vote again. Whether they like Queen of Swords or the King of Cups. But while that's going on, we'll let the party kind of give us another grasp of what they liked about this session, and it was pretty awesome. So I'm excited. Esteban, what was great about this session?
Oh, I mean, throwing Ashlyn under the bus. She's totally the Morgan, 100%.
Totally, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Hundo P.
Thanks.
Hundo P.
Right.
I mean, you might be.
Let's make that bet.
TBT.
Hundo P.
I mean, it's certainly something I'm going to be looking into.
Well, we did get just the briefest hint of Ashlyn's background this time around, so maybe there'll be some more there as we talk along. Ashlyn, what did you like the most?
I like how Aaron's character and I became parents.
Okay, that's a great quote. We'll call that good. And it's the most beautiful child ever.
Right.
All mothers
I
say
think
that.
so.
I think we can totally co-parent well.
So I think that means Esteban's the mother, just to be clear, right? Because
totally is.
Wait a minute.
You're the one who spent a lot of time with it, so you were obviously
you've
It's
been
imprinted upon me, okay?
taking care of it.
okay, Ricardo.
I just thought there was good role playing all around. I think we're getting along in character. Like, there's character conflict, but it's like productive character conflict, and there's moments of drama and moments of camaraderie and moments of what the fuck are you doing? And that makes it all good. It makes it good stuff.
Ursula.
The whole lab conversation. Combinations of consternation, curiosity, and is it love?
I'm
What
glad
is
the
love?
fates have chosen that we have a love story to go along with all the rest of this.
Right.
Oh, of course. Always a romantic subplot. At least one.
Right.
Valdis.
I mean, there were a couple of good ones. I mean, personally, I liked. That's a hideous looking monster thing. I'm gonna go get Ursula.
That was so
Thanks,
Put my
man.
baby in jeopardy.
And of course, the last little bit of like, oh, we just made a deal with a fae. It's fine. And I was like, welcome to my world.
Well, I completely agree with Ricardo about there being lots of great stuff this session. As a GM, I was really glad that we got the Ursula, Ricardo, my mother killed your mother
Yeah, that was
conversation.
It's amazing.
That was a big one.
And that was one of the ones I've been looking forward to since character creation, so it was good to have
Yep.
that. come out
Is
right
the-
here
Is the
during.
entry dramatic enough? Wasn't sure.
I think we did good. Now that we're
Yeah.
into Act 3, where the conflict is coming out, so sounds great. But now that we've started the rising tension, it's time for falling tension, and that means we're going to start falling the tension through each of you. And I still don't have a good answer, so I'll let everyone in suspense is whether Valdis or Ursula will get the focus for whatever comes next session. We'll see that then. Thank you for all who have listened along with us and chatted with us, and thanks for all the players for an awesome session. I'm really glad we rolled like 3 dice the entire session, and those are my favorite sessions for sure. So this
Oh
one's
yeah.
been great. Good night, everyone, and till next time. We are not. Next time will not be next week. Um, we'll put it up. We'll put up there on the channel what the next view will be. Have a great evening, everyone, and till next time.
Bye.
Good night.
Woo!